Hello and welcome back. So we talked about tools that are used to monitor different processes that are running on your system. But we are also interested in monitoring different connections that your device is making to the internet. That is also important, and we can actually find out quite a few things if we take a look at the connections that are being made. We can figure out whether some program is doing something malicious by perhaps communicating with a command and control center and getting commands and instructions from there. Or we can just simply see which regular processes are communicating over the internet, in case that's what we want to know. Okay, so to do this, we're going to use a tool called Wireshark. Now, Wireshark is a known tool that is used to monitor network activity. You can navigate to the website wireshark.org, and from here you can download the tool and run it on whichever device that you have. Currently I'm on Windows, so I downloaded the Windows version, and I already started the tool since it's already installed on my machine. And once you start it as well, it should open a window that looks something like this. Here we're going to see our different interfaces, and what you want to do right here is you want to choose the interface that you are using for internet connections. In my particular case, I'm going to go with Ethernet. So just double click and it will start loading different network packets, and it will tell me their details such as source IP address, destination IP address, protocol over which it's being sent, length of the packet, and information about a certain packet. We can even inspect furthermore by clicking on any of them, and we can take a look at the structure of the packet itself. Now, if you open this, it will most likely just spam a bunch of different packets, so in most cases you would want to filter this output. So you can, for example, type TCP if you're only interested in TCP packets or TCP protocol, and you will be able to see only the TCP packets that are being sent. You can also see to where are they being sent, so this particular IP address, and if you're not sure whether this connection should or should not be made, you can simply just perform some information gathering onto these IP addresses to figure out where your data is going. But that is not quite practical way. If you really want to see whether some process is making a connection, you ideally want to do that over command prompt. Now, Wireshark is still a useful tool. You can also do a bunch of other filters such as HTTP in case you're interested in HTTP data that is being transferred. From where and to where are these packets going? For example, this is from my Windows device to the router IP address. So this packet is particularly going to the router's IP. But let's see how we can combine this lecture and the previous lecture to figure out which processes are making internet connections. Okay, so here it is, quite a useful tool, but we can close it, we don't need it for now. Once you try to close it, it will ask you to either save what you already captured with Wireshark, or you can just stop and quit without saving. Now, to figure out first which connections we have open, we can open command prompt. And once we open command prompt on our Windows device, we can type the command netstat-aon. If we press enter, it will list out all the connections that our device is currently making, and it will give some details such as local IP address, which in this case would be our IP address, or this Windows device IP address, which is 192.168.1.6, and to who are we making the connection to. These are the foreign IP addresses that my device is currently being connected to. We can also see the state, so not all connections are being established. Some are just listening, some are in the process of the three-way handshake, and some are established. And we also do get the process ID, so we get the process which is actually doing these connections. And in case you find an IP address or a port number that looks suspicious to you, usually The more suspicious things would be if you were to find the connection being made on a port that's not 443. Since, as you can see, port 443 is quite usual for different connections that are usually being made by Windows processes. For example, let's say I'm not sure what this particular IP address is and which process is using it. All I need to do is remember the process ID, go down here and type task list, and then /fi, open double quotes, PID, and then space EQ, and then the process ID, which I believe is 2512. That's correct. I close the double quotes, I press enter, and here I can see which exact process is doing this connection. In my particular case, it's searchapp.exe. And if you were to find a connection that's being made with a process that you do not recognize, you want to further on investigate that process to figure out why is it connecting to the internet and what's its purpose. Okay, but nonetheless, I just wanted to introduce you to this quick little command prompt thing that you can do. The netstat command is also something that you can run on macOS or Linux, so it's not only for Windows. This tool exists on macOS and on Linux, but you have to run it from a terminal, while in Windows we run it from command prompt. We also saw Wireshark, which is quite a useful tool if you want to inspect different network packets. And this method right here is how you can manually figure out whether certain processes are making internet connections. Okay, nonetheless, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next lecture.